Welcome to the Parenting Power Podcast, supporting parents with the real-life tools they need to raise the confident, interdependent people the world needs. Gail Bell and Julie Friedman-Smith interview experts who share their knowledge to assist parents in creating a home environment where kids can thrive.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Beaner's Fun Cuts for Kids hair salons. Parenting is hard, haircuts shouldn't be. Visit beanersfuncuts.com for a location near you.
Hello, this is Julie Friedman-Smith.
And I'm Gail Bell.
Today we get to speak with Rob Brown. Rob has been with the YMCA Calgary in the Outdoors and Camping branch at YMCA Camp Chief Hector for over 10 years. In the past few years, he has been the general manager and oversees YMCA Camp Chief Hector, a legacy in mountain parks camping for almost 90 years, YMCA Camp Riveredge, an outdoors-focused day camp located along the Elbow River in the city of Calgary, and brand new this year, YMCA Camp Gray Jay, a remote mountain ranch camp located just outside the north edge of Banff National Park. Rob's background is not only in camping for youth and families, but also in construction and project management. Most importantly, Rob is a father who sends his own kids to camps, both his own and with other agencies. Rob, we're very happy to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can you tell us what it is that you love about being out at camp?
I love being out at camp because it's outdoors. That's probably the number one reason. And we get to see people at their best, coming and going in the natural world. By that, I mean we get to see people in a very amplified, accelerated environment where you can see their growth and their own personal comfort and sense of belonging in the natural world really blossom, explode. It's kind of like working in a flower shop where everything that's coming through the door is constantly blooming. I never have to worry about a lot of the long, arduous steps with children and families where they're finding growth and discovery. This place just typically seems to be able to manifest very quick and exciting growth in folks, and it's one of the great things about being at camping.
Oh, that's great. Well, Rob, I know both of my kids have personally benefited from going to camp. What are some of the benefits that you can share with us and parents listening about having kids out at camp, and maybe share with us how you have seen children grow during their time away?
The number one benefit for kids going to a camp, with any YMCA Calgary program, and most any YMCA throughout the world, I'd imagine, but I know specifically YMCA Calgary focuses heavily on making sure that people have a place where they feel like they belong. So sending your kid to a camp, particularly a YMCA camp, you will find that there's an environment that embraces belonging in all the people that show up. And so that's a lot different than asking people who show up to fit in, if you can parse the difference there. When you ask someone to show up and it's okay and it's safe and you can belong here, it means you come as who you are. And we've built a community that is intentionally learning how to and living the practices and ways of acceptance of who that person is that's coming here. When you join an organization or you join a club or you join an association where you're asked to fit in, that means you're asking those individuals to change something about themselves, to adopt some stance or behavior that alters significantly who they are so that they can join in the conversation, join in the activity. And camps in general they lean far more towards finding a place of belonging.
That's a really clear explanation of the difference between those two, and it's so important for kids, especially because kids don't often exactly even know who they are, and so they spend a lot of time trying to fit into everybody else's boxes, and it's lovely that they can come and not feel like they have to change who they are or what they feel in order to be accepted there.
That's right. And it's also a comfortable place for a kid to try something on that's new, right? So if in their school they're known as this kid that behaves this way, when they can come out to camp, they can try on a new persona, a new personality, which is really healthy for kids that are developing, to be able to do that in a place that's pretty safe. And it's safe for two reasons. One, the staff are intentionally instructed, and we follow the latest research in child and youth development to make sure we create the right training environment for our staff. But also, it gives them a lot of freedom to just reinvent themselves because they're not surrounded by their traditional cohort here. They're with a whole new group of interesting folks that don't know them or any baggage that they might show up with.
That's great. And I remember my kids coming home and talking about the new friends they met and the kids from all over, that they would never have that experience. So on that line of thought, how can we talk to parents and let them know how they can best prepare their kids for success at camp? And what can parents do to prepare themselves to send their kids away to camp?
Those are two very distinctly different questions.
Yes, they are.
The first one is, if you're a family that's preparing to send your one of your children away to camp, the number one thing to do is embrace what camping is about. That is the meeting of new friends, discovering new people, things like that. I know so many of my own friends, even when they're talking about camp, they're trying to figure out ways to make it easier and more successful for their young person. And so they talk about things like sending their friend to camp with somebody from, this club or around the block or a family friend that they already have, so that they've got somebody that they know. And I would say I haven't seen a single camp throughout the camping world that does not intentionally figure out how to make new friends between two kids who didn't know each other previously. And we intentionally prohibit our group structures from having more than two kids that know each other in a friendship fashion join into one group. Like, we don't let 4 or 5 kids from the same hockey team or 4 or 5 kids from the same block or from the same family, like cousins and whatnot, all be in one group. And there's a very good reason for that. It creates exclusion for the other kids that show up. But we also know that the most rewarding skills that we can pass on at almost any age is how to make new friends, how to discover new and interesting things about people you don't know till just now. Those are some of the most important skills that we can pass on. And they're some of the greatest ways that we can teach the lessons of belonging. So we're very intentional about how we structure the camp. And so a lot of families are really nervous. If I send my child there and they don't know anybody, then they won't make any friends. That's pretty rare. Pretty rare that a child shows up at camp and doesn't make any new friends. And that's because almost all of the activities at camp, right from the very beginning, where they intentionally have time blocks dedicated to getting to know each other's names, playing introductory games, learning new things about each other, giving every camper a platform where they're comfortable to talk a little bit about themselves and what they like and what they hope at a camp. And then all of the blocks of activities, whether it's going down to the roast course, out on the lake for a canoe, going on an overnight camping trip, they're all designed to immerse this new group of friends into activities and engagements where they really discover a lot about themselves and the people they're out there with. And it's not that every kid comes away best friends with every other kid in the group. It's that they come away knowing precisely how to learn about everybody else in the group and discover how to be a good community member. And usually that results in a lot of friendships.
That in itself would make me as a parent feel a lot more comfortable, I have to say.
That's right. One of the greatest things is you send I send my son off to a diabetes camp that specializes in diabetes. I don't supervise that camp. I know the camp directors because I work in the professional association with them, and I'm on the camping board for the province. So I know them really well, but I intentionally didn't try to find a friend or somebody from his diabetes group at the clinic to go with or anything like that. I knew the most successful thing would just be show up nervous. I don't know anybody here. I'm uncomfortable because I know the very first activity they do is to break that ice and get comfortable with all these new folks. It's a very practiced strength of camping, and it's one of the greatest barriers for parents to send their kids away camping. And frankly, it's one of the strongest features of camp is that you definitely don't need to know anybody before you show up. And sometimes that's a huge asset, not knowing anybody, because then your camper can really play around with who they want to represent themselves as that week. And that usually manifests in growth and change in the young person as they get older. And that's true for 7-year-olds or even 6-year-olds who come out to our day camps. That's the youngest age, all the way up to the 17-year-olds. We have success throughout all those age groups. And we run programs that are like camp, but they're more educational programs like equestrian high school course that we run for a week. And that's all 16-year-olds. And they're in the exact same boat. Like, they're showing up solo and alone. And we see the exact same nervousness as we do amongst our 9-year-olds or 12-year-olds. And once the ice is broken and the games get going and the activities unfold as they're designed to unfold, people really get to know each other and strong friendships build as a result of that.
So what behaviors would you like to see from parents in that regard?
I mean, acknowledge the nervousness of going to a new place. Just say, I know we're nervous about, having one of our family members head off for a week or 2 weeks without seeing us for a while. You can acknowledge that nervousness, but not give into it as a barrier to taking on challenges in life. So share in that joy. The more you share in the activities of planning and preparation, the better. I mean, right from reading the camp brochure, registration time together, that's always a great thing to do. I learned tons about my son. I would think he wants to be into this super coding video game design camp that's run by Sage or something like that. And no, he wants to learn outdoor survival skills. And it's well, that's literally my job. Why don't you do that with me? So I learn a lot just reading the brochures with him. So it's fascinating to have them involved in the decisions. And then when you got to pick up the special gear like the sleeping bag and the rain jackets and stuff like that, they're going to be involved to a certain level. But having them run it like a little project is always fascinating. Like a little calendar, camp starts here. We've got to get these supplies packed up and put together by hand. Then we've got to get this done. Have discussions about letter writing, things like that. Those are the kinds of lead-up activities that make people more comfortable with this thing that's coming. And you see that, some families who have really successful family vacations do the planning together. They talk about, the pack dates together. They look at the activities. They watch the YouTube videos about what's offered at the various theme parks and stuff. Those family vacations are always really great because the experience started well before they got in the vehicle to go away. And if you can create the experience for your family from the very get-go, instead of having this just a 2-week summer camp with an intense away time and an intense, start and ending, you can create this emotional attachment to having this independent activity and journey as a part of your family's traditions from way long in the past. And that's because you've built it as a family unit. So the camper, when they're away and they're feeling a little bit homesick, which is completely common, they know they're not on this journey by themselves because they started this journey with their parents, right?
Yes, that is exactly what we tell parents through our company, Parenting Power, as well. We say, feelings are normal, and don't try to push a child's feeling away. Don't say, oh, don't worry, you won't be homesick, versus you might be homesick, and that's just a feeling. And let's talk about some things you can do when that happens, because that might be normal, or you might be nervous when you arrive. Other kids are going to feel nervous too. It's normal. How are you going to work through that feeling, and how are you going to push through it? At Parenting Power, you'll be glad to hear, Rob, that we also encourage parents to involve their children in any planning. So that's great. So we will continue to encourage parents to send their kids from camp and share all the things that you've said about how valuable it is for personal growth for kids. Speaking today with you has just been wonderful. We thank you for sharing your information. Rob, I know that family camping is very popular in Eastern Canada. Are you seeing a growth in that in Western Canada?
Absolutely. We've had a family camp at Camp Chief Hector for several years, and it's one of our largest areas of growth. In fact, the YMCA's of North America have done a lot of research about this, and you'll find there's some dedicated camps that serve just families. And they have really pushed the boundaries on what traditional camping looks like. Now, it's not something that you can find at every camp because a lot of camps have a struggle to be able to accommodate families as a whole unit. And the reason is because, the accommodations don't quite fit the family just the way you'd like, things of that nature. But we find that families have a tremendous time when they come out to family camp because they'll get a great blend of a family vacation plus the independence and friendship building that happens with a traditional camp. So the kids will go off and do activities with all the other kids of their age group in the morning. But in the afternoon, we have family design programs. So a family will go down to the high ropes course at the climbing tower together as a unit, and they'll go through the challenges that we put campers through. And so they're just getting that great quality time doing something fun, interesting, physically engaging in the outdoors. And so it really builds strong family memories, like as as a time to get away. We have all the equipment, tools for success. So if your family doesn't have a really huge tradition in going camping or going on big overnight journeys and things like that, we have all the equipment and skills to make it straightforward and an easy process so it becomes a habit within your family. And you guys might find you have new passions, or you might find that's not for us. But we love the glamping version. We love having dinner in a big lodge and things like that. And we found that it's so popular and successful, actually, that many of the families that attend our family camp often stay connected throughout the year, because what typically happens is families, not only are the kids looking for new friends, but families are looking for friends, like other families who are like themselves. They have kids of a certain age. They have an interest in the outdoors. They have an interest in staying healthy and active. They have an interest in just having strong family time. So there's impromptu barbecues and dinner parties that are happening in the city. There's even groups that are going mountain biking. They call us, can we use the trails to go up on that hike we did on the mountain? And they'll come out, and 3 or 4 of the family camp families have popped out. And it's really fascinating to see families take into this world, because all the great values that make camping wonderful for kids, they apply just as broadly to families as well. And if that's what, and families are craving that time together that's disconnected, quite intentionally disconnected, and it's quite intentionally focused around making great memories together, but not in huge lineups, not at huge expense, and with folks that are just generally taking life at a pace that is a lot more suitable than, saying, going to Disney World or some massive whirlwind vacation. The pace is manageable. You get to have a really great time with your family, and you get to do things that the whole family will love.
That is so interesting. I wish that my kids were young enough that I could come back and do it.
We have grandparents that come along, so just mark it on the calendar. Someday you'll be coming back out with the whole family.
Fair enough.
If people want more information, they're curious about camping, they can check us out with YMCA Calgary. They can check out the Alberta Camping Association for something in their neighborhood. There's a lot of places out there that are looking to help families get connected with the outdoors. We have a lot of our families join us on the Facebook page for the YMCA Camp Chief Hector. You can see what we're doing throughout the year as well. Successful camps typically have year-round operations. So we don't just bring about 3,000 kids through our overnight camps. We also bring several thousand of Calgary's kids through outdoor school through the year. So we operate all through the year doing camp conferences for leadership, environmental education for the schools that surround us. So you can see what we're doing year-round, and there's a lot of interesting tips and things that go on there. I also recommend day camping is a good place to start. We have an outdoor-focused day camp in the city, but all of our facilities have dedicated day camps around sports and fitness programs, like just healthy activities, healthy living, but all the same intentionality that goes into building friendships, building new relationships with folks, and growing your own personal skills and ability to lead. So day camping is a great place to start. If you're really nervous, diving in and over the deep end is not tricky. Almost every single camp that's out there is really great at breaking that ice and getting somebody to build lifelong connections with the outdoor world.
Fabulous to hear, and it will be exciting to keep watch over what's happening on that Facebook page and just to learn more about what you do out at Camp Chief Hector. Thanks for your time today, Rob.
No problem, guys. Have a great summer.
To learn more about Parenting Power, check out our website, parentingpower.ca, visit our Facebook page, or follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Parenting Power.